All right, welcome everyone to another deep dive. Today we're going to be talking about Bryce Laspisa.
Bryce Laspisa.
Disappeared back in 2013.
Yeah.
And we've got a whole bunch of sources on this one. We've got articles, we've got witness accounts, even some analysis about mental health factors.
Mm-hmm.
This is one that has haunted online communities for years.
Yeah.
And for good reason. It's just a really strange case.
It's very bizarre.
We're talking about a bright, artistic college student just heading home to visit his family.
Right.
And then vanishes.
Just gone.
Yeah, just gone without a trace.
Yeah.
And the trail is full of these twists and turns. So hopefully by the end of this, we can at least try and make some sense of it all.
Yeah, I think what's most striking for me, at least, is how normal Bryce seemed, and then the strange events leading up to his disappearance.
Yeah.
You know, like our sources paint this picture of him being well-adjusted, popular.
Yeah.
But then something changed in the weeks before he disappeared, and it's this unsettling thing that just doesn't add up.
Yeah, it's just like this shift that just kind of comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You know, he breaks up with this long-term girlfriend, starts giving away his stuff.
Oh, wow.
Like his most valuable possessions.
Yeah.
And then there's the mystery of the Vivance.
The Vivance, yeah.
Which it seems like he was using without a prescription.
Mm-hmm.
So it really does seem like there was some serious inner turmoil.
Absolutely. Yeah, it seems like it really peaks during this drive home from Sierra College in August of 2013.
Right.
It's like, it should have been a simple 7-hour trip to his parents' house in Laguna Niguel.
Yeah.
But then it just becomes this meandering, almost aimless journey with these unexplained stops and detours.
Yeah, like the timeline itself is a
Yeah.
puzzle.
Totally.
You know, he leaves Sierra College on August 28th,
Mm-hmm.
calls his mom that night, tells her he's going to stop and rest,
Right.
and then he ends up in Buttonwillow.
Buttonwillow.
Which, I mean, if you're not familiar with California, it's just this tiny little town in the middle of nowhere
Right.
for 13 hours.
That's so weird. 13 hours. What could he have been doing?
Yeah. That is the question.
Yeah.
13 hours. What was he doing there?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's one of the big questions that still lingers today.
Yeah.
We do have a firsthand account from a roadside assistance worker,
Oh, interesting.
Jane Christian, who helped Bryce refuel his car after he had run out of gas.
Okay.
Christian said that Bryce seemed a little off-kilter, maybe a little disoriented.
Yeah.
But he was still able to communicate.
Okay.
He even assured his mom that he would continue driving home.
Okay, so it seems like everything's fine.
It seems like it, yeah, he's like, I'm okay, I'm going to keep going.
Right.
But then,
Another curveball.
yeah, instead of heading south to his parents' house, he goes to Castaic Lake.
So strange.
It is strange. Was he meeting someone? Was this a place that meant something to him?
Right. Was he trying to just clear his head?
Yeah, we don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah, it's hard to say. Several witnesses did place him at the lake, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was sitting in his car near this hilltop for hours. They said that he looked pale, he looked lost in thought, as if he was wrestling with something internally.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then early the next morning, his car is discovered at the bottom of a steep embankment.
So a crash.
A car crash, yeah.
You would think that that would be the end.
You think, yeah.
Like, oh, he,
He was injured.
got really badly injured or something, and that explains it.
Right.
But it just keeps going.
The strangeness continues.
Yeah.
The car was totally wrecked,
Yeah.
but there was no blood. There was no sign of Bryce himself.
Oh, wow.
Just his belongings and an empty bottle of alcohol, but
Yeah.
no indication of what happened to him after the crash.
It's like he just stepped out of the car.
Yeah, like he just disappeared into
Yeah.
thin air.
So we have a missing college student, erratic behavior
Right,
in the weeks leading up to this disappearance,
right.
a mysterious car crash, and nobody.
Yeah, this is where it gets really intense.
Yeah, this is where it gets crazy.
Hundreds of people were involved in this search.
Oh,
Diverse cadaver dogs helicopters.
wow.
They scoured Castaic Lake and the surrounding wilderness looking for any trace of Bryce, but that they came up empty. Nothing, no sign of him.
So do they think maybe he just wandered off after the crash?
That was definitely a possibility.
Yeah, disoriented from the alcohol.
Yeah, the alcohol, the Vivance,
Yeah.
the effects of Vivance, especially without a prescription, could definitely cause confusion and impaired judgment.
Yeah.
Some people even speculated that he may have staged his own disappearance,
Okay.
but there was no clear motive for that.
Right.
And then there's even the possibility that something more sinister might have happened to him after the crash.
Right. And that's terrifying.
That is a scary thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what his family was going through at that time.
Oh, it must have been just awful.
Yeah, just heartbreaking.
Yeah, that constant not knowing the possibilities swirling in your head.
Mhm.
And then about 2 weeks after the crash, there's a glimmer of hope. A witness comes forward and claims to have seen a hitchhiker
Oh.
that looked like Bryce along the freeway
Oh.
around the time that he vanished.
A possible sighting.
A possible sighting.
Did they ever track this hitchhiker down?
Unfortunately, no. They followed up on the lead, but they couldn't find anything solid that connected this hitchhiker to Bryce.
Wow. So another dead end.
It seems like just when you think there might be an answer, it just kind of dissolves.
Yeah.
Yeah, and after that, the case went cold.
Right.
Years passed with no new information.
It's crazy how this case, I think,
Yeah.
really shows how complicated missing person cases can be.
Right.
Especially in like our digital world,
Yeah, totally. It's like a double-edged sword,
Yeah,
We
yeah.
have all this technology, cell phones, social media,
Yeah.
and that can help. But then
Yeah.
it's also easier to just disappear.
Yeah, like into the internet or, a city or something.
Exactly.
So where does the case stand today? Like, is it still an active investigation?
Officially, it is, but it's been moved from a missing persons case to a cold case.
Okay.
The trail's gone cold, but Bryce hasn't been forgotten.
Right.
His family still has a website dedicated to his disappearance,
Yeah.
and there are all these online communities that still discuss theories and dissect the evidence.
It's definitely one that people keep coming back to.
Yeah, I think it speaks to just how mysterious this case is.
Yeah. And I think it touches on that feeling we all have of being lost or confused.
Absolutely.
Especially when you're that age, those young adult years.
It's a really pivotal time, yeah.
Yeah. It makes you think about how you might not know someone as well as you think you do.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Everyone has those hidden depths.
Right.
And sometimes those depths can lead to unpredictable, even tragic outcomes.
Yeah. And Bryce's case really highlights that.
Yeah, it really does.
So do you think there's any chance that he's still out there, living a new life, maybe with a new identity?
That's the question everyone wants to know. I mean, it's possible. We know that he was struggling with something inside.
Yeah.
He clearly wanted to escape some part of his life,
Right.
and maybe he did. Maybe he found a way to just start over and leave everything behind.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, we also have to consider the possibility that something tragic happened.
Right.
Something we may never understand.
And just not knowing, you know?
Not knowing is the worst.
Yeah, that has to be so hard for his family and friends.
It's just unimaginable to live with that kind of uncertainty.
Yeah, just the endless what ifs.
Yeah, and that's what makes this case so haunting.
Yeah.
There's no clear resolution. There's no satisfying answer.
Right. It's just open.
It's a story with an open ending
Right.
that leaves us with more questions than answers.
Yeah. And it's just a reminder that even with all the information we have today, some mysteries.
Some mysteries just stay unsolved.
Yeah, they just stay unsolved.
And I think that's the power of cases like this.
Yeah.
They force us to confront the unknown, the limits of what we can know.
I'm definitely feeling a lot of different things right now.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Sadness for Bryce and his family.
Of course.
Frustration that there's no answers.
Yeah.
And just this sense of awe at how mysterious this whole thing is.
It's totally understandable to feel that way.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bryce Laspisa case really evokes a lot of different emotions.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so impactful,
Right. It's not just the facts of the case.
Yeah, it's not just dates and times.
Yeah, it's like a human story.
It's a human tragedy.
Yeah, about how fragile life is.
Right. And it reminds us about the power of hope.
Yeah, you put that really well. It's
Yeah.
not just about a missing person.
Yeah.
It's about being human and wanting to find meaning in things.
And how we deal with the unknown.
Yeah, how we deal with things we don't understand.
Exactly.
And I think this case really makes us ask some tough questions, too.
Yeah, for sure.
About mental health and the pressures that young people face.
Right. And about whether we're doing enough to look out for each other.
So, if we kind of shift gears here,
Yeah.
why should this story matter to people who did know Bryce or his family?
Well, I think this case really highlights a few important things.
Yeah.
First, it shows how crucial mental health awareness is.
Yeah.
We need to be more aware of, even the small signs that someone might be struggling.
Right, like in ourselves and the people around us.
Exactly. And we need to create a culture where asking for help
Yeah.
isn't seen as weak.
Right, it should be a sign of strength.
Exactly. It should be like, good for you for taking care of yourself.
Right.
Yeah. And it's easy to kind of dismiss odd behavior.
Or, yeah.
Especially in young adults.
Totally.
It's like, oh, they're just going through a phase.
Right, or it's just teenage angst.
Yeah. But sometimes those changes,
Yeah.
and there's something much bigger going on.
Yeah, there's something deeper underneath.
Right, and catching it early can make a huge difference.
Yeah.
You know, if Bryce had felt comfortable reaching out for help,
Yeah.
maybe things would have turned out differently.
Right.
We can't know for sure,
Yeah.
but it's definitely something to think about.
It's hard not to think about that.
Yeah.
It makes you think about how we can all be better at supporting people.
Absolutely.
Just being there for them.
Being present, being attentive, being supportive.
Yeah. And that brings us to, I think, the other really important point here.
What's that?
Just compassion.
Oh, yeah.
Like, imagine being Bryce's family,
Yeah.
living with that uncertainty for years,
Oh, my God.
not knowing what happened.
Yeah, just that constant what if.
Yeah. All the possibilities.
Yeah, it's a powerful reminder to be kind to everyone.
Yeah.
Because you never really know what they're going through.
Right. We all have our own struggles.
Exactly.
And it's easy to get caught up in the mystery of this case.
Yeah.
You know, all the theories.
Right, trying to solve the puzzle.
But at the end of the day,
Yeah.
these are real people
They are real people.
who have experienced a huge loss
That's terrible.
and are still looking for answers.
Yeah, and they haven't given up hope.
And that's amazing.
It's really inspiring to keep
Yeah.
going even after all these years.
Yeah, to have that strength.
Yeah.
So it's not just a true crime story, right?
Yeah.
It's deeper than that.
Yeah, it's about love and loss.
Yeah. Yeah, and how strong hope can be.
Absolutely.
So I guess the big question is,
Yeah.
could Bryce still be out there?
Could he have found a new life? A fresh start?
Yeah.
We might never know for sure.
Yeah.
But it's a question that keeps people thinking and talking.
It definitely stays with you.
Yeah.
Well, I think that about wraps it up for this deep dive.
Yeah,
It's been a tough one,
it has.
but I hope it's gotten people thinking about some important things.
Me too.
You know, mental health and being kind to each other
Absolutely.
and just how powerful hope can be.
Even when faced with the unknown.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
this case has really resonated with you, I encourage you to look into it more.
Yeah.
There are online communities dedicated to Bryce's case. You can share your thoughts and feelings, connect with other people, keep the conversation going.
And most importantly, if you or someone you know is dealing with mental health challenges,
Right.
please reach out for help.
Don't go through it alone.
There are people who care.
There are resources.
And remember, even when things seem dark,
Yeah,
there's always hope.
always.